Hello, boys! I'm back!
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Ecco the Dolphin is back for more alien fighting, time travel, and alternate timeline shenanigans, as it should be. After saving his family and the Earth from being harvested by the alien species, the Vortex, Ecco is swimming happily with his pod and decides to explore the ocean around him. But when he suddenly loses his powers and hears word that the Vortex have returned, it's up to Ecco to set time right and save not just the world, but Earth's future. I've mentioned in previous videos that I already have a bias with this game since it was my very first video game that I remember playing. I fell in love with the beauty of the ocean and probably sci-fi as well because of this game. Nevertheless, I always try to be fair in my reviews. Like any good sequel, Tides of Time improves on the first game in the series. For one thing, this game is much easier than the first game. Granted, it's still challenging and even offers harder modes, but playing this game is a much less stressful experience than the first game. Game physics feel much smoother and have adopted what are called rubber dolphin physics. While I found the first game frustrating for pushing Ecco back where he came from if he didn't make a jump, Tides of Time allows Ecco to bounce around. Not only does this make overall gameplay much more manageable, but it leads to some very interesting level designs later in the game. The game's graphics look much more polished than the first games, which were already nice looking. Ecco as well as the other dolphins look less cartoony and more realistic and three-dimensional. The game's soundtrack is also more polished, and the Genesis soundtrack for this game is one of my favorite Genesis soundtracks. I also love how varied the levels are. Sure, we don't see Arctic waters in this one, but we get to see future waters, skyways, alien footholds, and a much nicer looking Atlantis. Oh, and the skyways. So much of this game takes place in the sky that, while it can lead to some frustrating falls, are beautiful and offer unique gameplay for an ocean game. I like this game more than the first game, but I'll admit that the plot in Tides of Time is weaker when compared to the first game. It does a lot with time travel and gets into alternate realities, offering a more complex story that can sometimes be a tad convoluted. The other problem I have is the ending. It's a cliffhanger, and a proper sequel was never made. And no, Defender of the Future is a reboot and not a sequel to this game. I try to avoid too many spoilers in my mini reviews, but let's just say that Tides of Time could have ended about 3 levels sooner and avoided a massive cliffhanger ending. I'm still waiting, Sega! Nevertheless, Ecco 2 The Tides of Time tops my list of favorite Sega Genesis games. The world is gorgeous to look at, the game physics are fun, and the soundtrack is pretty sweet. Dive in with Ecco into The Tides of Time. If you enjoyed this mini review, make sure you check out the full review. And if you like what you see, be sure to like my videos, subscribe to my channel, and tell your friends. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.